Why, hello there, young historians! With Halloween just around the corner, I thought we could explore one of America's spookiest events, the American witch trials. But this period in American history is not just some spooky tall tale mothers tell their kids to scare them into behaving. It has a long-lasting effect on one of the ideals America was founded upon, that being religious freedom. Let's get into it. First, we'll start by answering every English teacher's favorite 5 questions. Who, what, when, where, and why.
Starting with the easy questions. Sure.
18th century British colonists practicing Puritanism.
When?
The witch trials started in 1692 and lasted just about a year.
Where?
The witch trials began in Salem, Massachusetts, and eventually spread like an epidemic to encompass the minds of all colonists across the New World.
What?
Great, another easy question. A religious prosecution that took place in...
Wait. It was not a religious prosecution.
Well, I mean, it's...
No. It was all just hysteria. There were not real witches or witchcraft. It was a religion then.
Well, actually, most people overlook the fact that witchcraft was and still is a very real religion. Now, what the early Puritans believed to be witchcraft is very different than the foraging, crystal-loving, star sign-following Good Samaritans we know and love today. And this idea of witchcraft that the Puritans developed goes all the way back to their beliefs of living a pure and natural, uncorrupt Christian lifestyle. Puritans would typically call out anyone living a life unlike other Puritans at the time and accuse them of practicing witchcraft. Behaviors that would be considered abnormal at the time could range from farting in public to rejecting someone as a possible suitor, aka an 18th century form of a boyfriend. Or, in other words, just people living their lives. Does that make more sense?
I guess it does.
Great! Next question.
What?
This question is kind of complicated. When the American witch trials first appeared, the colonies were in the midst of war, economic regression, fever, famine, drought, basically everything everywhere all at once. Being religiously focused as they were, they needed something to explain the hardship they were facing. So they turned to the only rational explanation they could think of, the purest form of evil, a full-on demon invasion in the colonies, or at least the closest thing to it. The idea of witchcraft presented and explained by Cotton Mather in the late 1600s is a form of devil worship. Mather explained that people in the colonies were worshipping the devil, which in and of itself causes damage due to the hexes witches were putting on children, but also upset God. Basically, Mather thought that all the hardship the colonies were facing were due to a form of divine punishment sent by God.
But how did this idea take hold in America? It's so absurd.
Well, let's think about it this way. Let's say your cat knocked a vase off the table. If your mom said that she would take away all of your and your siblings' Halloween candy if no one fessed up to breaking her expensive glass, you'd be quick to accuse one of your siblings, even if you knew they didn't do it. That's because you are afraid of the punishment you will receive. You want to bring around the quickest and least painful end for you. The same thing applies for the witch trials. The colonists accused women to appease God and escape his divine punishment.
So they just went around accusing people of something they didn't do, all to avoid the punishment from a divine being that might not exist?
Basically, I know it sounds silly, but the Puritans truly believed in God and put all their faith in him, so they feared his anger and power.
But that's so unjust! How could that not be a shame?
Well, that actually brings me to my final point of today's lesson. In the fallout of the witchcraft hysteria, a wave of realization rushed through the early colonies. People began to see that their actions were wrong, and guilt and disgust filled their hearts and minds. While this realization was never officially spoken out loud, everyone understood and began a silent revolution, a revolution that changed the idea of religious freedom as it was known then. You see, the witch trials were caused by an overpowering, religiously biased government. And in the aftermath of the hysteria, people saw the danger of this. This realization brought about a religious revolution. They wanted to prevent this monstrosity from ever happening again. Thus, out of the darkness was the birth of the light that America was founded upon, the freedom to practice religion free of the fear caused by an overpowering, religiously biased government.